What are the best cases you can invest into right now? Well, my number 5 pick is going to go to the Spectrum 2 case. I think it's got a very strong long-term trajectory that we can already see developing in the 1-year graph, but focusing in on today, it's seen a smaller pullback. Now, the reason I went with the Spectrum 2 is because if we want to look at the supply out there that's expected to be, we can see it absolutely decimates the track that we're seeing for the Spectrum 1, and when we look at butterfly Dopplers, this is the only option people have to go ahead and try and unbox these, and therefore I think it definitely deserves a piece of your portfolio. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description. Now, talking about the active duty cases, we've got 5 of them, but we're going to exclude 2. The Revolution and the Dreams and Nightmares are not worth any investment potential. The Recoil, the Snakebite, and the Fracture are all up for interpretation. Now, the Fracture specifically is not one that I would personally invest into. I honestly don't think it's going to get removed. If we look at unboxing numbers, this case is on fire. It's one of only 2 cases with knives inside of it, and when we look at the Snakebite and the Recoil, these have the same exact rare special item, and we can see both of these are starting to lose a little bit of favor with the unboxing numbers. Therefore, it makes sense to get one of them. I would say if you're going to invest into anything, the Snakebite or the Recoil might be an okay option, but personally for me, I don't think any option in this is actually spectacular. Now, number 4 on my list is going to go to the Chroma 3 case. I think the Chroma 3 case is an absolutely spectacular purchase in the current moment. That's because of a couple different things. If we want to compare it, it's the cheapest of the Chroma options to go ahead and unbox. Obviously, Chroma 1 and Chroma 2 are more expensive, but they're also potentially a little bit more supplied. That's because we can see right here the supply estimate, and it actually ranks Chroma 2 having more cases out there than the Chroma 3, just because the Chroma 3 is being unboxed so much more because of its cheaper price point. Therefore, it could have the possibility to go ahead and absolutely explode in price if you don't think it's already exploded in price already. We can see obviously in the 1-year graph, it has seen some pretty massive profit. Therefore, I think the Chroma 3 case definitely deserves at least some consideration in your portfolio, just because we can see how strong it's been previously, and we can see that it's obviously not slowing down anytime in the near future, in my personal opinion. Next up, talking about the discontinued cases. Now, we're not talking about the esports cases, but focusing in on the Riptide, the Broken Fang, and the Shadow Web case, these have all seen some pretty immaculate growth in the past year, or at least over their lifetime, which is relatively short. And that's extremely important because we need to look at these and realize that they're all extremely expensive. Now, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't be investing into any of these in the current format just because of how expensive they already are. But there's definitely some potential there if you want to go ahead and grab some safe profit. Obviously, they're discontinued, no more of these cases can be created, and that obviously creates a very strong incentive for you to go ahead and invest into this, and I think that opportunity has already been quite exhausted. After that, we've got my personal favorite case on the list, which is going to be the Revolver case, coming in at number 3. The only reason it's not higher is because of that price point. We can obviously see it's quite expensive at roughly $2 a case, depending on when you're looking at it. Now, over the 1 year, the thing has gone absolutely insane. I mean, I can't underestimate how much growth we're going to see in the next year just because of how strong the previous year was, and the unboxing numbers on this thing are absolutely wild. With that being said, the supply on it is decent, and we definitely know that there's going to be a ton of demand coming into this when people are starting to return to that blue gem hype. But when is that going to be? We don't exactly know. I think the Revolver case is really a standalone case. It doesn't have a ton of great comparisons. You can compare it to the other cases with the rare OG knives inside of them, but the Revolver case is such a unique case. It's the cheapest option for people to go ahead and unbox those rare OG knives, and I think people realize that and are going to continue unboxing this case for the near future, which makes it an absolutely amazing pick in my personal opinion. Now, coming up on the list at number 2, we obviously have to go with the Danger Zone case. The Danger Zone case is so immaculate in its current format. I can't believe that we're actually seeing such a significant decrease in price in the short term here. Now, when we're talking about the Danger Zone case, over the past year, we've seen some pretty massive growth for this thing, but that's completely expected with some of these cheaper rare cases. The reason it lands at number 2 instead of lower on the list is because obviously it's a cheaper rare case. It's one of the cheapest cases out there in the current format, and even though the supply on this thing is relatively big, I still think it's got a ton of potential moving forward. Now, the Horizon case is actually an okay alternative if you're looking for something that's a little bit less demanded, but also a little bit less in supply. But in my personal opinion, I think the Danger Zone case is on a much stronger trajectory just because we can see the overall demand this case holds, and I think people are going to continue unboxing this one for the near future. Nothing's going to change about this case. It doesn't have anything that has been hyped up too much because of CS2, and therefore the unboxing numbers on this thing are definitely going to be sustainable in my personal opinion. We've got a couple rare cases that just didn't make the list. First up, we got Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I think both of these cases are absolutely spectacular. The problem I run into with these cases is that they're so evenly evenly matched. I can't see any reason for one consumer to pick one over the other, and that kind of creates a little bit of a problem when it comes to unboxing numbers because they're so even. After that, we got the Wildfire case. I really like the Wildfire case in its current format, not because of specifically the Bowie knives, but rather the skins inside of it. The fuel injector is one that's so desirable, and when we look over the past year, we can see people are obviously opting for this case. The supply on it isn't absolutely massive, and therefore I think it's gathered a lot of favor for the people that actually do prefer unboxing it. And finally, at number 1, we're going to be going with the Prisma 2 case. I think the Prisma 2 case is so hot of an investment right now. I can't imagine anyone not having any of these cases and not picking up some more. That's because of a couple of different things. Obviously, if we want to look at unboxing numbers, the Prisma 2 case absolutely decimates pretty much every other cheaper rare case in the current market, and it has been for a fair bit. Now, going along with that, the Prisma 1 case is actually a pretty decent investment as well, but I think the Prisma 2 case is just so much better. That's because if we want to look at supply, they're roughly even at this point, and when we look at unboxing numbers, the Prisma 2 case decimates the Prisma 1. Prisma 1 still great investment, but when we're talking about the Prisma 2 case, we can obviously see so many people are opting for this case over everything else, which is absolutely insane. The ROI on it isn't anything crazy, but when we talk about unboxing numbers and the overall demand that we've seen for this case, I mean, we can obviously see it in the past year and the overall lifetime growth. People love the Prisma 2 case, and I really can't imagine anything coming along that would change it that drastically. Now, focusing in specifically on these cheaper cases, the first one is the CS20 case. The CS20 case for me has always been a little bit of a weird case. I honestly think it's almost like a facade. I can't imagine anyone opening up this case willingly, and that kind of makes me a little bit nervous about it. Now, with the clutch case, it's a really good long-term investment, but we're not at the long term yet. Let's be completely honest, the supply on this thing is absolutely massive. It's the reason why we haven't seen any major movement for this case for a significant amount of time when every other rare case has started to go up. And then we've got the Horizon case. I do think the Horizon case is a pretty okay case. It's just not personally for me. It's got a lot of different dynamics than what I look for. It's got a lower unboxing numbers, a lower supply, and when it's compared to the Danger Zone directly, I can't imagine why anyone would prefer this case over the Danger Zone in the long term. Therefore, it's just not for me. Now, talking about the older rare cases, these ones for me make zero sense to invest into. A lot of these cases are actually being dropped more than they're being unboxed because the supply is so low and the demand is absolutely not there at the current price point, and therefore I think you're better off investing into a discontinued case if you want to see some pretty sustainable growth over something like this. Now, what cases should you buy specifically? Well, if you're looking for cheaper cases, I think you should either go with the Danger Zone or the Prisma 2. Both of these are great options. They've both shown to be sustainable in the unboxing numbers, and relatively speaking, these are probably the two most popular cases to be unboxed in the current moment outside of the active duty cases. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more expensive, I think the Revolver is a great option just because of those rare OG knives, but I also think the Spectrum 2 or the Chroma 3 are good options as well. Both of these have specific knives inside of them that people really like, and therefore they're going to continue to unbox these cases into the long future as long as these knives keep their demand. But that's pretty much all I got. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day.